As soon as I walk in the courtroom, he literally sees me over his lawyer's shoulder and whispers to his lawyer, "Oh my God, there's Bitboy." Okay, so we went down to the Bahamas, and I know a lot of people were upset last week. We had a video vlog, and it was talking about us seeing him in court, and then it didn't have any of that footage. Well, we just had a little bit of a miscommunication. We had actually a lot of footage from around the court, but obviously we were not allowed to go inside the court. I wasn't even allowed in with a phone. Some people were allowed to take their phone, and it was turned off. They literally made me hand my phone to my security who stayed outside the court. I had to turn it off and hand it to them. That's how concerned they were about me trying to get footage.
I actually tried to make like a Twitter space, and like I was gonna walk in the courthouse with my Twitter space on so like people could hear it, but then they like grabbed my phone as I was walking in the room. At first they weren't even gonna let me in the room because our priority was to all make sure that Ben like definitely got in the room.
I will say there was a person in the court who I know was able to get 20 minutes of footage that you will see down the road on a documentary. But basically what happens is we go to the Bahamas, we file these police charges against SBF, and then we find out right after we file the police charges, he has a trial on Monday morning for extradition. So we go there Monday morning. As soon as I walk in the courtroom, if you saw in the video I made a couple weeks ago, he literally sees me over his lawyer's shoulder and whispers to his lawyer, "Oh my God, there's Bitboy." I was dying. I had a smile, like I had like a kid on Christmas smile, grin the entire time because I was so excited to be there. I mean, it was historic what we were seeing. It was very surreal being there. The lawyers were going back and forth.
The more people that get involved, the more people who are investing, the more money we're all going to make. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's not even a scheme per se. I have to go make a call.
There was this mysterious event that happened over the weekend that was us filing charges. We would come to find out.
Ben, do you want to explain what just happened in there?
Yeah, so what happened is something happened over the weekend. They didn't know what it was. Well, it's our girl Rebecca over here filing a police report against Sam because she's an FTX investor, and we got criminal charges against him here in the Bahamas. And so basically, the prosecutor, the attorney that was defending Sam, didn't know that happened over the weekend, and they kept talking about some document. Well, it's our report that we filed over the weekend. And so Sam's gonna talk to his counselors over in the United States, but he's not leaving today. Back in the Bahamas, baby, let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, enjoy
Let's
your
go.
stay.
Team Rebecca, let's go.
Enjoy your stay, SBF.
And there was just so many things going on in there, so many moving parts. He looked so pathetic, he looked so pitiful. There was a time where he was all slumped over, and somebody in the court had to ask him to sit up, obviously on withdrawals probably from his lack of Adderall or whatever medication he's on. And there was a time where he sat to the left, kind of on a bench, and I got to look right over at him, and I waved at him. And it was a great moment. It felt very surreal, like I said.
The Bohemians, excuse me, they're very proud people, and you know, Sam, they didn't want Sam to get extradited. Like, they felt that Sam did wrong in their country, and that they want to make him pay for what he did in their country. The judge, it really came down to if he felt moved by Sam's plea to get out of the Bahamas. The judge was like, I am not moved by your attempt to get out of here. Like, you can come back another day. His case was actually supposed to be on February 8th, and somehow he got it pushed up. And he was supposed to stay there for at least a year. That's what I kept hearing other people say. I asked Lincoln Bain, like, so if Sam didn't get extradited today, like, how long is he gonna be here? He told me Sam was supposed to be in the Bahamas for a year. There was a moment where he stood up to like kind of whisper to his counsel, and you know, a lot of people in the back didn't hear it, but I heard it, and he said to his counsel, "You don't understand, I have to leave today." Whatever, you know, game of 3D chess he was playing, like, he needed to get out as soon as possible. And his lawyer, his American lawyer, must have really changed the game, because he was not supposed to get extradited the 2 days after that hearing. Like, I don't even know how he got that hearing set up, because he was supposed to be in jail in the Bahamas for a long time. So this is the biggest financial crime probably in the world ever. So I could see how he kind of danced around some stuff with all the people he paid off, and the Bohemian government definitely got their pockets lined by this whole...
Can you say that again? Can you say Bahamian, not Bohemian?
Huh?
Can you say Bahamian, not Bohemian?
Bahamian?
Bahamian.
Bahamian.
Bohemian is like hippie. It's totally different. It's Bahamian.
Oh.
Yeah, you sound like you're talking about like hippies.
Bahamian.
Hey, if this doesn't go in the vlog, it's a fail.
Damn it, Ben! Bahamian.
But he ended up staying another day, so we got to wave to him when he went back into the SUV to go back to the Bahamian prison. They do call it a prison there, even though it was serving as a jail. BJ got a great shot of him walking out.
So I figured if I wasn't going to be able to film inside, I did want to at least get the shot of him coming out of the building. I ended up trying to get one of the shots from the front to actually see SBF come out of the building. And I saw people up in the woods, so I ended up actually swinging around the building and then climbing over some bushes and some walls and then standing on a big old pile of trash to get the final shot. I don't know, I've seen a lot of other incidences where you would have borderline thought there were going to be riots outside of this building. It seemed like a lot quieter than I expected.
They were all rejoicing. So everyone was outside. They were like singing and dancing, and like that was a win for the Bahamian people that day that Sam didn't get extradited, because it's personal to them. And then, you know, we're literally in the airport a couple hours later, and I'm reading a story from Forbes, and they said that Sam chose to stay in the Bahamas, that him not getting extradited was his choice. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you guys are so full of it. How many journalists has Sam paid off? Unless you're literally there in person getting the real scoop, the scoop that you're getting from the news isn't it. Then to learn, you know, we thought that Sam was gonna be in that prison for God knows how long, and then to find out that he actually did get extradited 2 days later is just like, dang, like this whole thing is really about how deep corruption can go. This thing goes a lot deeper than most people think, and this story is going to continue to unravel, and I'm here for it. So
one thing that was very interesting was his parents were not there. His parents were not at any of the hearings, and I thought that was fascinating. If your kid is facing what he's facing, wouldn't you want to be there? Unless you were involved in it. That's why we filed a civil lawsuit against Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, Alameda, and also against Barbara Fried and Joe Bankman. They'd never switched names, or she never took his name, so they have separate last names. And what we're trying to do is keep the Bahamian government from seizing all of the property that FTX owned under a different LLC. That way they were able to hide it in the bankruptcy for people around the country to be able to rally together and say, you know what, we're done with corruption. We're staying with Lincoln Bain in the Bahamas. And, you know, I think overall we're going to win this lawsuit, and people are going to see big things are going to come from it. But all the chess pieces are not into place yet. We're about ready to hit checkmate. And when we do, he's going to be finished.